PC game. Let's fucking go. Thanks everybody, and peace out. Welcome to This Week in DCU Talk with the Fandom Comics League Daytime. It's the daytime show. We got a lot to talk about, but before we do, we have my co-host. First, let's introduce him, and you guys know him as Comics League, but I call him Jared. That is Comics League himself.
The Comics Lord has arrived!
Yes, and our other co-host, you know him as J Heat, but he brings the heat in J Heat. That is J Heat 75.
What's up?
Guys, welcome on in, guys. Welcome on in. And guys, we got a lot to talk about today. So let's kick things off, shall we, with a banger.
All right.
And that is, by the way, you're allowed to swear in here, so over 18 is a thing here. So,
Oh, bleep, yeah!
If there are
Yeah.
any children in the audience, please leave now. We understand.
Cover your ears. Cover your ears. It's a good thing Nick's not here.
yeah. So let's kick things off, shall we, with CCXP 2022. Yes. So that was the first thing, and there was no trailers, surprisingly.
That's the first thing that I thought was pretty interesting. They're keeping a lot of it close to the chest. It could be because James Gunn is still formulating the way the universe is going to go, so they don't want to release any trailers yet until they have like a solid plan like in place, or at least more or less hammered out.
Yeah, let me just quickly make sure before we
I
do
agree.
continue our discussion. I tweet out that we are live on the show.
I'll do it too.
Yeah, just
Same.
make sure get that out there. But yeah, guys, it's CCXP no trailers. So kind of crazy, right? To think that there's no
I can't
that
recall the blogger off the top of my head, but there was some leaker claiming that negotiations were in the works for a potential season 5 for Titans, and I'm like, there's no way.
That's not happening.
No.
no.
I would like that because I like the Titan show, but even I'm realistic enough to decide, that ain't happening.
Would you say it's
Yeah.
better than Teen Titans 03?
No.
Thank God you have good
I
taste.
think it's good for right now, but I'm saying that show will always be better than Titans. Oh my gosh.
Can't be worse than the Arrowverse. Well, the Arrowverse did have its moments when it wasn't.
The Arrowverse had its badass moments, which is ironically the first 2 seasons of every show. At least Superman and Lois, his chances are getting canceled before we have to test that whole 2 seasons and then it gets crap.
Well, technically, season 3. Technically, The Flash had a good 3rd season with Savitar.
Kind of, but here's the problem with that. And then I promise we'll return to the topic. The problem with that is that it perpetuated the problem with the Flash show where every villain was a Flash, and then the solution to fighting the villain was just Barry runs faster. That's really it.
Okay.
But anyway, in terms of no trailers, it is pretty interesting when you think about it. But once again, it could be he doesn't want, because there's been conflicting information on whether or not the Flash has actually changed, or like any of these movies has changed. So it could be that they are changing, and then until we have an idea of what the story for like Flash is going to be, they want to keep it close to the chest. There was marketing for Flash, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes, definitely. There was marketing for the Flash. I don't know if you guys saw. There's Supergirl. There's reference to Supergirl, reference to Batman, and then the 2 Barrys.
Yeah, that was cool.
They call them
two
the
shirts.
They call them the 2 idiots.
Which that's Ezra Miller. There you go.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny that there's at least there is some promotional stuff. But on top of that, there was promotional stuff for Superman. in the banner of DC.
Which,
Thoughts on that?
and by the way, which Superman?
Henry
I
Cavill.
know, but I think that's why I'm more than convinced that. Let me put it this way: if he hasn't got it, if the scoopers are wrong that he's gotten a contract, that shows me that they at least want to bring him back, and that they're close to that point, because why else would they put him in the trailer in the poster for that? They would have used like Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, definitely. But people are just like, oh well, this is the Justice League. No,
It's
it is
not.
it's the
When you look,
Zack Snyder's Superman
because
because
here's why. Take the Black Adam post-credit scene as an example of that. If it had been the Justice League Superman, he would have come in and said something dumb like, "Okay, Black Adam, you and I are gonna have a talk." No, what he actually said was, "It's been a while since I've made." What he means is, "It's been a while since I've made the world this nervous," referencing BVS and Man of Steel. So really, they're using the Snyderverse as the template and just adding to it is what I think they're doing.
yeah. But
Which I'm
people are
happy
just
for,
like,
because I love the Snyderverse, as evidenced by the
yeah,
shirt.
the shirt definitely, yeah. I think as well, guys, we got so much big things happening going forward. It's like it's like for especially when it comes down to the films now, we got four DC films. I know one of them they've just done a panel for Blue Beetle, and DC announced their release date, which is August 18th. Thoughts on that?
I'm cool with that. I'm first off, I'm really excited for Blue Beetle. By the way, I just want to say one thing real quick. Doesn't it feel good to be excited about DC movies again?
Yes,
That
it
feels
does.
so good. But go back to Blue Beetle. The poster looks amazing, and this is one of those shows. I'm glad it's getting. I was talking to my co-host a lot about this. I'm glad that's getting a theatrical, because here's the thing: because we already know this, the base suit looks amazing, but now they can put in more effort and money to making the CGI portions of the Blue Beetle suit look really good. So it makes me all the more excited for it being a theatrical movie.
Yes, definitely. I was gonna say as well, when it comes down to this, like the movies itself, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is one of them I'm looking forward to definitely because the suit is different. There's no more what's it called electrical stuff inside the suit. It's a genuine Black New 52.
Which
Like
I'm so cool. I loved a lot of the new 52 designs, and I'm glad that they're getting a little more respect now, because it seems like post, like in the Rebirth era, DC was like, avoid anything new 52,
New 50,
everything.
yeah,
And now it's
yeah,
like, no, it happened, so we're gonna have some fun with it. So I'm like, thank
And
you.
speaking of Shazam and Wonder Woman is going to have a team up book against the Greek Pantheon next year.
Which I'm like, why didn't they think of that beforehand? Which, again, okay, so next year, what's coming out next year? Shazam. This all the more indicates to me that Wonder Woman's going to be in Fury of the Gods.
yeah.
More than likely.
Synergy, baby, synergy.
And it's gonna be one amazing film for sure. Like I think Shazam! Fury of the Gods is gonna be there for sure. I'm just surprised Blue Beetle's actually got like a summer release date.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm surprised it's got a theatrical release too.
Which, again, very happy about that, because they can put more money into it.
Yeah, because they had a panel at CCXP, and I'm just like thinking, wait a minute, isn't this movie supposed to be a HBO Max series movie?
And what's great about it, this is Marvel's chance. I mean, Marvel. This is DC's chance to capitalize on the love for Spider-Man, because they could make Blue Beetle their version of Spider-Man, particularly if the rumors of Batman showing up. They could make it essentially their version of Spider-Man Homecoming, except
Yeah,
improve some of the issues with Homecoming, but in other words, you can make Blue Beetle that young, like, access character, as I call them. In other words, the character that like the younger audience can see themselves in, interacting with all these titans.
The relatability factor.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And to an
Definitely.
extent that works for Jaime Reyes, but he doesn't get pushed enough. I don't know if it's for merchandise reasons or his stories are limited. Because other than the Reach, what can you really do with Jaime other than putting him on the Titans?
I mean, he did get a lot of more like love after like he was one of the key points of one of the arcs in Young Justice.
True.
So really, at this point, I think this is the one character that they're pushing, and I'm like, okay, you know what? This has potential. This could get this character into at least. I mean, he probably won't leave B list and go to A list, but he will at least be higher in the public consciousness. So he similar to the way Spider-Man is, but obviously not to the level of Spider-Man.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about CCXP? Or do you want to move on to the next topic?
Let's move on. Let's go.
Move on.
Okay, let's talk about WB Animation deal.
Oh boy.
Yes, WB Animation has finalized its deal with Amazon. How do you guys feel about that now that it's finalized? And what would you
And
like
to be
to see
clear,
from?
It has potential.
And
But let me make this.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Jahid.
And let me make this perfectly clear. What's Harley Quinn, the animated series, Invincible Season 2, Goth Batman, the Cape Crusader. Those are the top 3 projects as a condition of this distribution deal. Young Justice is very unlikely. It just didn't hit the numbers. I'm looking at you, Tevia.
We're just telling you now, Tevia. We're just telling you now, Tevia. But
Yeah.
what they could do, honestly, we could get an Invincible DC crossover, like at least an animated movie or like a short like episode of something.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
they have this kind of a linking deal, and they could say, "Hey, we could do this. It's like a joint venture."
But there's a lot of star power in the Invincible cast, and those actors are top dollar. It would be hard to pull off.
I think the only animation show that would stick would be the Cape Crusader. I think the Superman show is done. I don't think
that's done too.
I don't think that's getting off the air in terms of animation. But what I would like to see though is Teen Titans or Titans at the very least in a darker tone.
Yeah.
I think that it's been long overdue since we had a Teen Titans animation style, dark and gritty. We haven't had something like that in a long time.
But here's the thing, though: if you have a dark and gritty Teen Titans show, the fans, air quotes, that refuse to let these characters grow or acknowledge that we're not in the golden age anymore will throw a hissy fit. They're saying they're making these characters too dark. That's partly why there was such a resistance to the Titans show.
And let me make this clear. With the Wolfman Perez run, there was melodrama and angst, not borderline edginess.
Mm-hmm.
There were edgy storylines, but they were mostly revolving around Raven for Trigon the Terrible and Terra. And maybe a little bit of toxicity with Donna and her professor / boyfriend, later husband. But that's a separate conversation.
That was her professor?
It was her professor.
Oh my gosh. It's the reason why I asked that because I'm reading because I bought a lot of comics from a buddy of mine. I'm reading one of the Blackest Night tie-ins, and one of them is she gets turned into a Black Lantern because her Black Lantern baby bites her on the neck.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so that dude was. I was wondering where the hell that dude came from because all of a sudden she's marrying this dude, and I'm like, who the hell are you?
Okay, I think we lost Jay Heat.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's Taladia, what do you think?
I think what Warner Brothers will do going forward is have a grand more of like characters that can be used for DCU, but like having a Justice League Dark animation film would work definitely. I mean, yeah, they're gonna have it in live action, but okay, Jay Heat. But like having the style of let's say how the New 52 Justice League Dark movie was.
Which Dark movie? Because there's 2 of them.
The first one.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So if they did an animation style much darker than that.
With Trigon. I mean, they did do Teen Titans darkish movies with like the Judas Contract and all that, and those were honestly pretty good, except for some part. Who is that Jared from Comics League guy? He seems very handsome.
Yes, he seems Handsome, is that
Except she needs a
you?
beard. That's me before beard, by the way.
That's you before beard. Okay.
I look very young without a beard. That's why I grew it.
Yeah, you look like a baby face. Baby face.
Oh boy. I look like young John Kent.
Don't mention John Kent because you'll bring Tevye in here, and Tevye will
Yeah, I
go.
know. No, it's the other one.
Okay, so I think as well when it comes down to hold on. Oh, we got Man of
Dude,
Steel
what's up,
V2.
Man of Steel? It's good, dude. In the channel on my channel, we're doing great, dude.
How are we doing? Hi, I'm doing good, man. How you doing, Man of Steel V2? Hopefully you're having a great day. We're talking DCU and yeah, it's we're talking about animation at the moment. And yeah, let's
I
bring
think
it
it
back
could be
to
a good thing, honestly, because here's the astounding part, though. What does this mean for HBO Max and the DC stuff on HBO
uh
Max?
that's a good question, because like I think some of the HBO Max stuff
Mhm.
is like, okay, well, what they can really do to put the HBO Max up? I think Titans is well, we know Titans is done. Doom Patrol is done too, but imagine a Doom Patrol animation on
Mhm.
HBO
They
Max.
could do that.
That could work, right? Because it gives them the freedom of the control to go wild and crazy
Mhm.
with certain characters, like
Yeah.
e.g. Crazy Jane. That's a
Mhm.
really good one, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I also think on the Amazon side, right, what they can really do, it's like you can put out movies and you won't be restricted by, oh well, it should be this movie and this has to be in this timeline, but they can do an Elseworld story if they wanted to,
Mhm.
and it
Sorry about
can
that.
work.
Sorry about that, gentlemen. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. 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 In, I believe it was late 80s, early 90s. It was right after Crisis. But Donna did end up in a relationship with her professor, a very young professor. He was like in his mid 20s. They ended up getting married with a son, and they tragically died in a car accident while Donna was on a mission. Then she
Wow.
rebounded with Roy Harper for a while. Then Cheshire came into the picture in 1995. Then we had graduation day, but we don't
So,
talk about that.
but anyway, Jay Heat. So I asked a lot of you this, but what do you think that the Warner Brother animation deal means for HBO Max and
It
the
could
DC
be
stuff
just
on there?
it could be distribution where they're networking on multiple streaming platforms. It could be exclusively a distribution deal. That is the most likely. But if you really want to expand, I mean, because we know Harley Quinn, the anime series, is going to get a season 4, even though the tie-in comic is god awful. But
The show
that's
is
very
better.
likely. That's very likely. Invincible season 2, extra money would be going into that, and maybe some distribution with HBO Max to attract more viewers.
Yeah.
And anyway, the sky's the limit. Amazon has a pretty good track record for the most part, not counting Rings of Power. That's arguably their only real dud.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's
definitely.
because they ignored the canon. So it's not like it's not impossible for them to redo it.
Hmm, definitely. Is there anything else we should finalize before we move on to the next topic?
This doesn't mean that they're going to bring back Young Justice, Tevi, but it can make it more likely that we'll get a sequel to the Super Sons movie. That I will give you because they could
Or
just throw it on
Batman
that.
Ninja. Or
Or
Batman Ninja
Batman Ninja was kind of meh,
Eh.
but I'm saying
in the art style, in the and
in the
that
Oh,
was
art
definitely
style
that art style,
that
but
was great.
the movie itself.
But,
But
but once
you're
again, I'm just gonna say this: it does make it, I think, a little more likely that we'll get a sequel to at least the Super Sons movie. I think we could see a sequel because people like that.
and
and
yes,
your
Tevye.
best bet with Young Justice is basically a Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo situation where it's an epilogue movie or an epilogue miniseries to wrap up loose ends.
Mhm.
Yes, and we got a new comment and the Batman.
What's up, dude? I love your movie.
Yes. Hey, what you doing? You doing? Man of Steel V2 says, I really enjoyed the Super Sons movie.
Yeah, it was
Yes,
great. It was
it,
better than it had any right to be, honestly.
yes, it was a great film for sure. The Super Sons. So, but like before we move on to the next topic, I'll also say this: when it comes down to WB animation, they're god tier with their animation.
Can't go
Very
wrong.
good.
Once
You can't
again,
go wrong.
well, except for Injustice, but
And
what we
Superman Doomsday.
and
But we
Superman
don't-
Doomsday. Well, the Death of Superman movie was good though. But I think what we're saying is that DC is god tier animation. Like, let me go this way: say what you want about the MCU, Marvel can't even hold a tiny candle to DC's animation. They had some good. They had some good animation movies, but the level of quality coming from DC is unmatched.
Unmatched.
Unmatched, exactly. Yeah.
It's not even a debate. You cannot debate that.
No.
As DC fans who think DC is better than Marvel, I know none of us will want to debate that.
Outside of 3 animated projects that were related to the Ultimate Universe, with leading up to Next Avengers and Planet Hulk, those are their only 4 solid animation movies.
I like Planet Hulk.
Should have gotten World War Hulk too.
Should have gotten World War Hulk too, but because I read through the comic and it's actually pretty close.
MCU animation. Yes.
I think he's referring also to What If, which was good which I enjoyed, but it wasn't really that good. Yeah, they did cancel the Ultimate Avengers for no reason. Thank you. Well, they did give that Young Avengers movie that was kind of a sequel to like Ultimate Avengers 2, but it wasn't that good.
Yeah, definitely.
What is it with Marvel and adapting Age of Ultron that they suck at it? Because the story is dope.
Yeah, but Age of Ultron is it's kind of like the Avengers equivalent of Days of Future Past. We know it's a post-apocalyptic story, and there's a lot of tropes you end up falling into that Days of Future Past just excelled at. So there's only so much you can do without someone in the general audience say, "Oh, they just copied Days of Future Past."
Once again, Bendis versus Claremont. No contest is Claremont, baby.
And even this before he fell off in 2010. In 2010, Bendis was.
By the way, I got I went to my LCS and picked up a bunch of like old single issues from the dollar bin. I opened up like a Batman one, and it has like Bendis is coming, and I shivered because I know what that led to now. I'm like, oh no!
I'm surprised they still have that promo. I find
no, it was an old issue.
Yes.
I was like, no.
You know what they should have done? Ran a campaign where Bendis is leaving.
That's what I would do if I ran DC. I would legit do that. Bendis is leaving, and I would call it the deep. I would legit openly market. What's up, Lawrence? I would openly market that we're making it so Bendis never touch DC. Openly.
And guys, before we like talk even further, before we do this thing, I was gonna also say we're gonna have a 5-minute open panel towards the end of the stream.
Sweet.
If you guys want to be on, you have your 5 minutes of being partaking in the stream today. So if you guys want to do that, I'll put the link out there later on in like about half an hour or so. So we're gonna be talking. So we're gonna have.
That's how I got on the show. So
we need to stop talking about.
And we love you, J Heat.
Yeah, we'll stop talking about Bendis. I
feel your pain.
I think on that, because if you mention Bendis, Tevye might show up and talk about
Super. No, Tevye won't show up because of what happened with John Kent.
Oh,
but I will say this. If you're really gonna poach someone off Marvel, they should have gone for Claremont.
Or Hickman. Hickman on Justice League, dude. Imagine it.
Had potential, but Hickman has fallen off in recent years. Not as bad as Bendis, but Hickman has fallen off a little bit.
It's because he didn't have the support of Marvel, but that's besides the point. We're moving on.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next topic, shall we? Gotham Knights Heroic Assault, which is the newest DLC that dropped this week. Have you guys played it?
I haven't yet because I haven't had the time to like boot on my Xbox. I will probably tonight.
Okay.
I've seen clips of it.
What do you think of it?
It's solid. A solid 4v4 co-op is solid. We've already talked about the graphics off stream, so that's no point going.
I really do not care about the graphics because the game still looks pretty good. I'm fine with that.
I'm talking about the game mode itself. What do you think about the game?
The game mode is solid.
It seems like a really good. They need more more game modes that encourage co-op. What they
Yeah.
should have done, honestly, is with Gotham Knights, kind of had it when, yeah, exactly. They
Yep.
should have kind of like given you the option to add in AI. In other words, have like
Wow.
all 4 people on a mission, and whoever you're playing as, the other 3 players are bots, kind of like what they did with like Ghost Recon or like some other 4-player games, because that way you could get a few of like the character interactions during a mission, and this seems like a happy compromise with that.
Yes, definitely. But I think when it comes down, because I played a few of the floors of the heroic assault, I really think it's a really cool thing and really fun to have 4 people on.
Mhm.
It's a closed environment, so there's less CPU usage, so GPU usage, I should say. But I also believe when it comes down to this game mode, I feel like it's there for people to have fun time, like, play with your friends, face off against enemies factions, whether it's freaks, mob, the court of owls, and even further, the Storo.
Yeah, Star.
Lawrence, by the way, it
That's a good
was on
idea.
sale. It was on sale. You missed out on the
Which,
sale.
here's the interesting thing, though. Speaking of that Starro thing, that's an interesting enemy to use for like a raid. Star in a
Yeah,
Batman game. Starro.
as the villain.
It seems more like it would be more like fitting of a Justice League game, but we'll see what happens with that. I mean,
Uh,
I think we lost Jay Heat, but
uh, okay, he'll be back in a few minutes. He
yeah,
goes.
but what I mean by that is like, of all the villains you could have picked, they could have done a Bane, done like a Sadia Bane thing, or like, I don't know. I'm like, Starro, really?
Yeah. Okay, so he goes, uh, so do you guys think a certain scoop about them recasting Jason Momoa's Lucy? Who
Well,
said that?
they're not going to recast. Yeah, they're not recasting him as Aquaman and
Who
Man
said?
Steel.
No, hold on. Who said that?
Yeah, who said that? I'm
Mama.
like, are you talking about Grace Randolph? No one takes her seriously.
It's not Grace Randolph. Don't take even my time to sign seriously.
Are you talking about Syl? Because I don't think Syl ever said that,
No, no,
or
still
Mikey.
hasn't said that. Still and Mike haven't said that. So I don't know where
Yeah, and Man of Steel V2. Yeah, the campaign is fantastic.
I really enjoyed the campaign. The opening gets to you, draw right in.
Well, yeah, that's because he is a hench beast, but that's just because he's not the main character of the game. There's 4 main characters.
There's four characters, which is I think is great.
Although I hate him, I'm not all the more
Nice casting,
liking.
yes.
Yo, what's up? I'm not really that like sold on his traversal ability, because it's like Lazarus jump, and I'm like, that's just
No. I got a better word for it. I got a better thing to call
Go
it.
ahead.
The fart jumps.
Yeah, it's kind of that. But my point is, it's like in a Batman game, again, everyone has pretty much grounded. I mean, granted, Tim teleports to a satellite, but my point is that compared to superpowers, I'm like, what? Why can't I use these in combat? I could like force push people.
That's why I don't think a Teen Titans game would work as the next game, because it isn't gonna do well. If Gotham Knights didn't do well review wise, I don't think I don't think the Teen Titans would do well.
No.
It needs to be a top tier character like Superman
Or Justice League game.
or a Justice League game. Yeah, that's why I think they're gonna bring Batman back and they're gonna put him in the game
They're
because
definitely bringing Batman back.
Yeah,
that was a mistake to kill him off completely. He should have been, what Batman should have been was the end game, like you know how if you beat the game, you unlock a certain item in some games. He should have been a playable character that you only unlock after you play through the main campaign.
So Justin says she's going to be in a dream that Billy is going to have her in a cameo.
Who said that?
We don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, who are you talking about? Who's making these? Which scoop are you talking about? Because I'm pretty sure it's like an actual him showing, Wonder Woman showing up in Shazam.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the topic of Gotham Knights Heroic Assault. Villain Showdown is a big thing. Now I know you
Mhm.
haven't done Villain Showdown yet, but you do get gear from that.
Awesome. So that's a good way to like level up and like really like advance your
No, no, no.
characters.
You'll be able to raise up your power level from whatever it is now. So let's say you're 7K, that'll be up to 17K or 20K or
Yes.
something like that, which is
So you
amazing.
could really use that if there's like a character you're weak on, but I mean, in other words, you don't have that much power on, but you want to power them up. Just go into
Yeah,
that.
just doing that. Yeah, you do that. You fight the boss, and literally, the boss is harder than what you faced off in the story because it's the bosses are enhanced power.
But
So
let me ask you this: are you fighting other enemies at the same time, like you
no,
were?
no,
It's just the
no.
boss. Thank you. That's a little easier because it's annoying to have to fight henchmen and the villain at the same time.
No, it's just the boss because you face off the four villains that you'll face off against is Clayface, Mr. Freeze, um, Talia al Ghul, I think as well.
Ooh.
So those are the ones that you'll face off against. Um, so that is 100% sure. And one of them is the you get two boss fights right for Mr. Freeze. So that's
Yeah.
given. So you do both fights for those
Hmm.
without a shadow of a doubt. And the cool thing is, I think the limit limit increased from 40 to 60 power level
Hmm.
cap. So that'd be really cool. But let's move on to the next topic because I think we could do that now. And let's talk about the Game Awards, which is coming up pretty fast, guys.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make our little prediction here on the channel. And because the Game Awards I tend to have, surprises, especially when it comes down to game video DC or Marvel video games. And last year's Game Awards, we got Wonder Woman. Now, I want to ask you what is your prediction for the Game Awards in terms of DC video games or Marvel for that matter?
I think we'll see gameplay for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. In other words, they'll have a gameplay demo. I think we'll get an actual trailer for Wonder Woman, at least a trailer. And in terms of, I think we'll get a demo for Spider-Man,
Yeah,
and really, maybe we'll get a demo for Wolverine, and maybe we'll get like actual like teasers for like Iron Man and such.
yes, that would be really intriguing. For DC, I definitely think Suicide's going to be there. We know that MK NRS isn't going to be there. Mortal Kombat or Injustice, they confirmed that they're not going to be there, so that's kind of a bummer. Um, but I think because Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman, those are the two DC ones I'm looking forward to seeing
Me
there.
too.
Because I think we rarely even seen Wonder Woman, but we need to see um Wonder Woman stuff.
Hmm.
And but like I said, I also believe um when it comes down to Marvel though, they've got Marvel Spider-Man 2, Wolverine, the Captain America and Black Panther game as well from Skydance Media. So there's all of that too.
Hmm.
So, but I think DC needs to hit this one out the park. They need to show more at the Game Awards.
DC in general has to really pick it up.
Yeah, these next couple of Game Awards, they have to pick it up because this year's Game Awards um there wasn't a nomination for Gotham Knights,
Yeah. And
which is
I remember Gotham Knights was, no matter your opinion on the game, critically, it was a dud. So,
yeah,
really, even though it was a fun ass game, but the thing is that, let me put it this way, if Gotham Knights had come out and been a huge hit, I would have been like, okay, they can afford to be quiet right now. They really can't.
they can't. No, they need to have.
Particularly with all this upheaval surrounding DC and David Zaslav and such. So they really need to show we could be profitable.
Yeah. Um, Plus, I was gonna say that it's also intriguing for me. It's that intriguing that the Game Awards, whenever they show something, is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Last year's last year's, especially when it came down to the actress who plays Amanda Waller. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting her to come on stage.
Mhm.
She came out on stage, which was amazing. Um, but yeah, let's move on to the next topic, which is uh, we'll we got two more topics. The first one is DCU games. Let's talk about that, and then we'll end it on Titans.
I
Okay, so let's talk about DCU games because Warner Brothers right now are going to be focusing on the aspect of having their games, video games, most of it, not all of it, most of it will be connected to their universe. How do you feel about that? And what games would you like to see? And
Okay. First, how we feel about this. And this could backfire severely. What I mean by that is that if they tie it into the movies and they could do small
yes,
side
Batman.
stories, yes, that aren't essential to like the story, to like the overall story of the movies. That's fine. But if they hide plot points that are very important in the games, that's gonna harm the audience because the audience is gonna be like, "What the hell was this from?" So
Yeah,
it should be more of like there's like an Easter egg in the movies to the game, so they link it. But in terms of which games, yes, Nightwing would be one, but I would count Gotham Knights as that. We're already getting a Wonder Woman game. I want a Flash game.
you know what? A Flash game would work for DCU because they need a top tier character. An Aquaman game would
Obviously, I want a
also,
Superman game. That's beyond
yeah,
the but that's beyond question right there. How about a Green Arrow slash Black Canary team up game? That's co-op.
a birds of prey,
Yes, yes.
a birds of prey game.
Well,
Imagine
one
that.
here's they can do that with Oracle. They could have one player playing Oracle in the clock tower, and and that player is directing the other players through the map.
Flash, yeah, the Batman says the Flash, definitely
Yeah, we need
100%.
that.
We
There
need
was a
that Flash
demo. I
game
think
because
I think either you posted it or someone else posted on Twitter where there was a demo for like a Flash game that almost came out.
so I think somebody else posted. I might have retweeted it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It was Bottle Rocket Flash game, which was gonna have Ryan Reynolds as the Flash.
Oh boy. And actually, the Batman has a really good point. Green Lantern game. Yes.
Yes,
Based on any of Jeff Johns' Green Lantern comics. Yes, please.
yes. We want a Superman game. We want a Flash game. We want a Justice League game. We want a. I would even say this, right? I think as a DCU game, I would even say even a Young Justice.
Ooh. They could do that to tie up all the loose ends, or even as a comic.
Yeah,
But the game they could also do a game.
I mean they did a game before, and it did tie over that between 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
A JSA game? Hmm,
Maybe because
maybe.
now we have the JSA in the universe of Black Adam.
Yeah, definitely. I think JSA would work. I think as well, guys, when it comes down to the universe, then they need to explore every aspect for different characters. A uh, a Doctor Fate game would
Oh
be cool.
hell yeah! A Hawkman and Hawkgirl game.
Yes. We're coming up with some really cool game ideas, guys. That James Gunn should be jotting these down.
Take
Writing
notes,
these
James
down.
Gunn. We got this. Take notes.
You got these ideas for DCU games, and they can work
I got
in
it.
the
New Gods game where you play as Darkseid. Can you imagine a
after
story-driven game where you play as Darkseid, voiced by Ray
after
Porter?
JSA movie with more background for a general audience.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But can you imagine a New Gods movie, a game where you play as Darkseid?
You know what? That would actually get people behind the game.
It would be
Because
basically Kratos, pretty much.
yeah, it'd be like instead of him saying boy, he'll be saying Ray
Anti-life.
is here.
Well, actually, it could be a game that's the origin for Darkseid.
Yeah. Oh, I thought of something an a high god game. Like Orion and
Oh, a High Father game. It's still New Gods.
a high father like Orion
Ooh,
and
I got it. A Female Furies 4-player co-op game.
hmm,
But dude, yeah, I think that the New Gods in other words, Darkseid, Highfather, Orion, all that stuff, is one of the eras of DC that needs more attention. That's why I wish that freaking New Gods movie was coming out.
New Gods would have been interesting. But what do you guys what games would you guys like to see as a popular besides Superman and Flash and the ones we've just mentioned? Besides those, what else would you guys like to see for a DCU game that is connected to the universe, not like the Arkhamverse or the Gotham Knights verse, something which is separate, like something in the
How about a
main
Batman game where you play as all the rogues?
Booster
Lawrence
Gold.
has a good one. Booster Gold. That'd be fun. Time traveling, and they could show like all the different eras in DC.
I had another good one. Adam Strange.
Ooh. Or Lawrence, I'm gonna add on to yours a co-op game that's Booster Gold and Blue Beetle.
Yes, because the guy who plays Blue Beetle is a gamer too.
Yeah. There's no reason why they can't do that. And by Blue Beetle, I'm talking about Ted Cord. I'm not talking about Jaime Reyes.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, a Booster Gold and Jaime Reyes, not Jaime Reyes, Ted Cruz. Yeah, definitely. And but yeah, this is like a great thing. And James Gunn tweeting out about it, saying it's gonna connect and everything. Most of it, not all of it. I'm really looking forward to thinking Jay Heat is back. So Jay Heat, we're talking about DCU games.
What
Sorry
game
about
do you
that.
want to see?
Well, I'm kind of Suicide. I'm hoping Suicide Squad is good, or at the very least, the co-play.
Dude, I had the idea for a New Gods game where you play as Darkseid. And it's
But wouldn't-
Darkseid's origin story.
Depends. Are we talking pre-crisis, post-crisis?
Well, actually, Darkseid's
that-
outside of the multiverse.
It has potential, but it could easily be bloated because the New Gods aren't exactly relatable.
True.
So
But if you remember, this is the Snyder fans. The Snyder fans will eat it up.
true, but then you go into the Injustice situation where you're marketing mostly for edgy teenagers, and I think we know how that ended.
Yeah.
No, but if you gotta remember though, if anything Snyder related with his Dark Side, Ray Porter voicing Darkseid, they'll eat it up. Anything related to the Snyderverse would work.
I'll give you that. And a JSA game has potential too.
But dude, a co-op Booster Gold and Blue Beetle game. With Ted Cord.
Not Jaime.
I see where you're going with, but you might as well make a Justice League International game.
Where there's a mini game where you're Batman punching Guy Gardner a bunch of times.
Oh come on, people would eat that up.
Yeah, you could. Can you imagine a mini game where like it's a quick time event. You have to hit the buttons in a certain time period.
It's the Arkham combos, and you're just beating the crap out of Guy Gardner.
Out of a Guy Gardner dummy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, definitely, 110%. Okay. So we're coming up to that last topic. Have you seen Titans?
I have.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Fortunately, okay. The last topic, which is Titans season 4. The last 2 episodes, which were released last week and this week. What did you guys think?
I liked them. I think it's interesting how they're turning Superboy into Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, that was like out of left field. I was just like,
that whole thing.
When he shaved his head, I was like, what is happening? I thought you know what I thought? I thought he was giving himself the Connor Kent haircut that I hate so much, but then when he comes out bald and like an a-hole, I'm like, okay, but also we got White Raven.
That's actually a thing in the comics from the say what you will about Jeff Johns 2003. We get it. It was alongside Teen Titans 03. It was both were beloved, but the Connor Luthor art was god awful. The characterization was edgy as all hell. I would take 90s Connor over.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Sacrilege. Sacrilege.
Yeah.
No. Think about it. No, there were some good things about Jeff Johns' 03 run. I'm not saying that. But am I the only one who thinks that the whole it was bloated. Young Justice did it better, but the whole Connor turning into Luthor or being it was bloated in the original comic. Sometimes
At least they're doing something new with the character, though.
Yeah.
And this could actually work well with his arc this season because he's dealing with being like the air quote offspring of Superman. So really, when you think about it, what's a better way to show like, no, you really are more Superman than Lex Luthor?
Yeah. Oh, the duality is definitely there. No one's refuting that. The duality is definitely there. And this is the one credit I will give Titans, despite my clear bias based on the comics and Teen Titans 03. They didn't drag Damian Wayne into this bullshit. An older Damian Wayne for that whole Damie, Ray, Beast Boy love triangle.
And Tevia, they're not going to do that.
God,
yeah,
no.
if Tevia, if you what?
And I'm indifferent to it. It's just Rob Ray by a different name. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm more so indifferent to it. Yes, the actors had chemistry, but I would see that dynamic being more platonic than just Damian trying to score.
What?
Than just Damian trying to score. Because think about it. Sorry, am I static?
No, I think Talati was having connection issues.
Yeah, I was having connection issues. Yeah, go on.
Okay,
keep on going.
But, okay, and where was I? Oh yes, it's just say what you will about Damian Wayne and Nightwing's dynamic, especially during the Batman Reborn with Batman and Robin. But Damian is not Dick. He's not a man-ho. Damian's a lot of things, but a man-ho is not one of them.
That's so good. I love that. Damian is not a man. That's gonna be your quote. That'll be your new clip for when you come on my channel. Damian is not a man-ho.
Hey, I'm keeping the not impressed. We'll save that for special occasions, but I'm keeping the not impressed.
Yeah, but that works really well. But yeah, I mean, let me put it this way. I'm interested to see what they do with the rest of the season because I like how they kind of are circling back to Trigon, it seems, a little bit. And let me put it this way. If they stick to landing, don't believe anything Jody's corner says. Nothing, Jody's corner is just upset that Grace Randolph was proven wrong, and everything that he says has been proven wrong about the DCU. He was one of those people that wanted Joss Whedon to manage the DCEU.
Yeah,
I feel Jody Corner was right about a couple of things. Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie, spot on. But as much as I respect the guy, he kind of was a stickler during the Hamada regime. Not as much as Grace Randolph was, but he was a bit of a stickler. He was riding the bandwagon at the time. Let's call it for what it is. Now, I respect Jody Corner far more than I respect Grace Randolph, but...
Oh, yeah, the Batman. We need that as a clip. I believe Joss Whedon, even though at that point Joss Whedon had made no comment.
Why did you say that name? Sorry,
why did you say... Talati, you need that clip.
I don't have that clip.
I'll send it to you. But still, it's like...
Yeah, Snyder cut on file.
Yeah, I have the entire movie 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah, you guys send me some files. But as I was saying, I think when it comes down to, like, I don't know who this Jody Corner person is, right? I don't know who he is. I don't give a damn what the person says because, you know, they're not right at the end of the day. They don't know what they're saying. So don't believe anything that if anyone says anything, you should just trust what James Gunn is saying. Give James Gunn the time that he needs for the slate. So that is what we gotta say for that. But back to Titans though, because this is the topic of Titans. What did you guys feel about the dilemma between the Brother Blood and the whole, the faction of the Sebastian character?
I feel like it is a solid portrayal because he's a megalomaniac. He has a god complex. It's a pretty solid portrayal. The only one I could see that's better than his was Teen Titans 03, and that's because even then that version was severely downplayed and focused more on the Technus imperative storyline. But but Titans Brother Blood was solid for the most part. Solid casting, solid direction. I'll give credit where it's due. It was solid for the most part.
Okay. You, Jared?
I like it. I think it's pretty interesting. I like how they sort of played off that he's Raven's brother, so it's an interesting way to like play off of that dynamic and like show there's conflict in him.
Hmm.
In other words, he's not a straight bad guy.
Right. Yes. Um. So that being said, I think we're gonna end it off in a really. Hold on. He was Klaus
Klaus
Medelson.
from Vampire Diaries. Yeah, my cousin
Vampire.
knows about that.
Okay, cool. That's pretty. That's good. Some good knowledge. The Batman. Props to you. Um, I was gonna say, what do you guys give the score for both those episodes? Not combined, but separately.
Separately, I give them one a 6 and the other a 7. Not mid, but definitely not good. It was okay.
I would
Okay.
say 7 and 8, respectively.
Yeah, I'd say 7, 8 as well.
As
Yeah.
Okay.
someone that has enjoyed Titans throughout the entire show, and more or less, I mean, I can't stand how they're pushing the Tim Drake and Bernard thing, but that's just for synergy, so I understand why they're doing it. It's strangely it's more forced in the show than in the comics.
And no, in the comic, they barely touch it at all. Not even with the whole webtoon Wayne family adventure. I think Bernard only appeared in like 5 chapters at most in that
Mm-hmm.
series.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like Tim, the whole relationship. Now you can see Tim X Bernard one or two ways. If you go purely by the comics, it's just for the sake of getting highlights and clout on Twitter, and it's just a shelf book. And basically, what I mean by that is a shelf title is a book where nothing's really going on. It's not slice of life. There's a difference, but nothing's really going on, and the story's inconsequential to the wider narrative in the whatever in the grand scheme of what DC's doing. It's just a shelf title, and it's just there specifically for cloud and retweets and all that because most of their clientele are contracted hacks. But I'm not. That's a separate conversation. But the other way you could see this is kind of like basically what Harley Quinn in the animated series did, where it's a pseudo love triangle between Harley, Ivy, and Kite Man, and then you can ingrain because Megan Fitzmaurice, I'm
Hell yeah.
convinced she's a Tim Con shipper. I am
She
convinced.
is. You can definitely tell, particularly in her Teen Titan stuff, where she's trying to make it so like Tim was like confused by his feelings when Connor died. I'm like, I see what you're doing.
And the only real material you have is literally on graduation day, arguably the worst Titan storyline of all time. And even then, that's because the writer was making a cheeky reference, a joke at best.
Yeah.
And even then, it was
So,
crude as all hell.
so I want to bring this up with you guys, right? Because I know that we're coming up to the end of our stream because you guys have got
Sorry about
the
that, ladies and gentlemen. Mask of the Phantasm, greatest Batman movie of all time, in just under 30 minutes.
yeah, in just under 30 minutes. But we want to talk about you guys. You guys, this is your time now to shine, meaning you guys get to self promote yourself. Oh, before we do that, let me send out the invitations. Guys, if you guys got 5 minutes, 5 minutes of fame to be in the stream yard and to be a part of the stream if you guys want to partake. We got the StreamYard link in the chat, and yeah, so if you guys wanna,
I will
you know,
time.
you
Oh, you
get a
beat me
chance to
to it,
say,
Jared.
yeah. So you guys have got the time to join the StreamYard, and the link is in the chat. So you guys get to talk about any topic that we've discussed today, and it'll be great to have you guys on the show. The link is in the chat right now. We're gonna give it a few minutes.
While we wait, I got this.
The Infinity Gauntlet Select Edition.
Heck yeah.
Hardcover, nice.
Yes, it's hardcover, and I got one of the few good books that Tom King has written.
Sheriff of Babylon is okay. Tom King is always going to be a Marvel writer at heart because with Marvel, and this is the main. This is more so brand than anything else. Marvel is more relatable, relates to the walks of life and whatever people go through. DC is more based on what people strive to be. Yes, 5 minutes of fame. So DC is more inspirational. Marvel is more relatable. So if you're gonna focus on more relatable stories, Marvel's your best bet, and Tom King's always gonna be a Marvel writer at heart. Heroes in Crisis, being a trauma story, is a perfect example of this.
It would have worked better at a DC, at a Marvel, as a Marvel book when he didn't have so many characters to destroy.
Yeah. But yeah, while we wait, if anyone does join, we'll give them 5 minutes. If they don't turn up, we're gonna give you guys your time to promote yourself, and we'll go off with J Heat.
Okay.
You self promote yourself first. What have you got coming up?
Okay, focus. Currently, I'm focusing more on the SWTOR or Knights of the Old Republic playthrough with Sith Warrior. I'm actually going to start posting Jedi Knight Part 1 this week too. That way, I can get more content in and actually expand the story a bit. As well as I'm planning a podcast on my channel where we actually focus more. That way, we're not compressing everything onto 2 shows throughout the week, like Comics League Dark, Comics Movie Night, and Comics League Daytime. So I'm actually working together with the others to see if we can establish a podcast where we just talk about anime, manga, stuff that's not strictly comics. So by all means, if that's something you want to hear, let us know on Twitter, like the videos, subscribe to each of our channels, and let's see if we can make it happen.
Okay, cool. And Jared, what have you got coming up besides the what we know?
Besides what you know, yeah, I have a very special video coming out on Monday. The premise of which is arguing that the Snyderverse community is not toxic. I'm taking that position. You know what? I'm going to take it. Let the heat come at me. Let J Heat just blast me with fire. But I'm working on that. Yeah, exactly. I'm working on that for Indie Wednesday. I'm going to cover Batman Spawn. So hell yeah. And in terms of just covering content, depending on what comes out, again, immediately after this, we're going to be covering Mask of the Phantasm on movie night. This is my first time watching the movie, and I very much enjoyed it. And yes, I know now Jay Heat can no longer give me hell because I haven't watched that movie. I got it.
All right, cool.
And I'm probably going to do another Under Two Capes episode talking about Super Wonder and why it works as opposed to Wonder Bat, because I get that so much time. I might as well just drop an episode.
Yeah, a Wonder Bat, and Wonder Bat for life because you're on my channel. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I wish I could knock you out, dude.
I'm not going to start.
No, you guys started.
I could see both. I could see both. I really could. If we're factoring the DCAU, then Wonder Bat, they date for a while, have a couple flings, and it just doesn't ultimately work out. Super Wonder is more akin to the New 52, Kingdom Come, and other Elseworlds, where
actually in a lot of when you look at DC's history, they've been hinting at those two for a long time.
But have they ever gone through with it outside of 3 distinctive examples?
In their dreams. And again, I will say this is all a preview for my upcoming Under Two Capes episode, which will be out
Snyder
next
Queen,
Friday.
if you're on, please. That way we get that, please, because I think a shipstorm is brewing. So it's not
a shipstorm. That's good. That's good. I love that.
But before we end it off, I'll tell you what I've got coming up. I've got the Heroic Assault stream. By the way, the link is in the chat if you guys want to partake in the stream. We've got a few minutes. You got until about another 5-10 minutes, and then I'm gonna end it. But I'll tell you what we got coming up for my channel. Heroic Assault tomorrow on my channel. We're gonna be doing the Villains Showdown and Heroic Assault, and I'll get you guys involved. And it's a shame there's no crossplay because I've been playing with these guys.
Yeah,
for sure. And that'll be something. And I was telling Jared last time, was it yesterday? It was yesterday. This morning actually. I was saying, technically yes. I was saying, if Suicide Squad Killer Justice League is.
And speaking of Snyder Queen, she retweeted a fan campaign for Emilia Clarke to replace Amber Heard.
Yes,
that's everyone wants that.
I was talking to Nerdette, and we actually said if they did an actual adaptation of Flashpoint and had Gal Gadot cut off Amber Heard's head, can you imagine that?
That would be crazy.
A little overkill, but I could see.
And then Gal, I'm going to channel Nick for a second, and then Gal Gadot says it's now that was a Game of Thrones.
Boo.
Yeah, I know. I had to channel
Boo.
Nick with the bad puns.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're channeling your nil. Oh, we got Jay. Wait, you got Jay Heat? Hold on. Jay
There's
Heat, did
two
you
of
add?
you?
Well then,
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh, I didn't realize. Sign me up for the next stream. I'll jump in. All right, the Batman.
Sure.
Next
Alright.
stream.
We're going to have
We'll-
Bruce Wayne on the stream. Yeah.
Yes, we're gonna have Bruce Wayne on the stream next stream. Yes,
Yes.
a New Gods fighting game. Okay.
it depends
think-
on
I
how
think-
it's executed. It could work.
With the Mortal
I think-
Kombat people, but with the Mortal Kombat gore.
Never realm on a New Gods game. You're crazy.
I think Black Wamba is actually behind on the stream. Way behind because he's talking about the stuff we just talked.
Wait,
Yeah,
League of
he's
Assassins.
probably behind.
Okay.
Yeah. He's way behind, yeah. But yeah, so the Batman, you'll be the guest on the next stream. For sure we'll contact you've got my Twitter, you know my Twitter, which is at Tiladia Plays. You can see it scrolling across on Twitter. Just follow me and DM me and we'll sort out a time and we'll get these two knuckleheads on the next show, possibly. After the Game Awards, because there is the Game Awards on Thursday. So I don't know how hyped you guys are, but I am. I know me and Nick and Chris, DC Comics Gamer, are going to be doing a reaction stream on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. And it won't be using StreamYard. It'll be doing it through my OBS. So that'll be pretty fun. So
Just send
I'm
the link,
using-
man.
No, what? To the Discord server?
Yeah, that would. I mean, we could do a watch party of the Game Awards if that's possible.
What we do, how it works essentially is that you watch it, I'll watch it, Chris watches it, thing, and me and Chris are streaming it on both our
Okay.
channel.
Okay.
So you will be able to react at the same time all together,
Okay.
and it'll be like a party, so to say. So that'd be pretty fun to do. But that being said, though, guys, we've given you long enough now, and pretty much we gotta. Jared has got to do his thing for Mask of the Phantasm show, and before we leave off, we do hope you do like this stream, which is this week in DC. We will be back maybe next week or the week after. Next week, possibly Nick isn't gone to a Comic Con. Hopefully, fingers crossed that he hasn't gone to a Comic Con. And we'll talk about Game Awards. We'll talk about all the new DC stuff and the Batman will be here. And yes, as Jared said, make sure you smash that like
And you
button.
can see my unbearded face.
And be sure
Yeah.
to subscribe.
And be sure to
Subscribe to these two knuckleheads.
yes. And Lawrence, we'll see you on the next stream. Thank you for hopping in. And this has been Tiladia Plays. As we took this week in DCU to talk with the Fandom Comics League Daytime. And that's been Jared from Comics League and Jay Heat that brings the heat. And I've been your boy Tiladia Plays. So stay safe. We'll see you next time.